Welcome, everybody, to Everyday People on WJZZ Cool TV. And I am your host, Jesus Washington, and I have a very, very special guest. And his name is Carlton Claiborne Jr., and he is the president and the council member of Highland Park. And we are going to get to know him today, and we're going to get to know the other side of him today.
There we go.
Yes. So welcome on my show. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to come on the show, so everyone can really know who you are, for what you are. Okay. So first of all, we're gonna start with your upbringing.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Appreciate the invite. My upbringing.
Yes, your upbringing.
Are you my great childhood in Highland Park?
Yeah, your great. Yes, exactly. We want to know your childhood in Highland Park.
Okay. Well, I'm a fourth generation Highland Parker. For those of you that don't know, Highland Park is surrounded pretty much by Detroit, but we are a suburb of Detroit. We have our own everything, and it's a generational place. Mm-hmm. So when I grew up, we had a lot of things. We had a lot of resources. Pretty much every building had a pool in it. We had a swimmobile that would drive up and down blocks, and you could jump in the pool. We had
What year are we talking about? Because I don't see no pools now.
No, you don't see a lot of things. I mean, but these are the resources that we had.
Yes.
They would have times like the swimmobile would be coming around, and in the summers it hit a block and all the children come out. I mean, it was a time where children came out. The neighbors knew each other. Mm-hmm. I was talking to a childhood friend of mine about a couple months ago. It's like, man, and we was just talking about where we at in life and everything. Mm-hmm. They said, well, man, we was raised by our block. Mm-hmm. And even though, we had strong families, we had a strong block. Mm. So the community, so the community was strong. So we built with each other. We helped each other. So we were all family on that block. Mm. So that's how I came up. And then being in Highland Park, in the middle of everything, I could catch the bus downtown. We could catch the bus to the suburbs. So we had pretty much all access.
Right.
We could ride our bikes to Hamtramck and get chased out of Hamtramck. We ride our bikes to, Palmer Woods or, Sherwood Forest. So had a very good childhood growing up in Highland Park. I started playing sports early. First soccer. We used to do BMX racing.
What is that?
BMX racing.
BMX racing? What's right. BMX racing?
Well, you got dirt bikes and you racing them.
Really?
We would go to a spot in Inkster. It's called Famous. And there was a track in Whitmore Lake. It was an outdoor track. Famous was indoors. So we go out there. They had you'd be on just, your starter block. You could go down the hill. You jump in the ramps. It was dirt.
Yeah.
That's we used to. It was a few of us from Highland Park. It was some off my block, a couple blocks over. Either their family would drive or my neighbor. We would drive. We would go out because it really wasn't the sport for us. But that's what we was going out there. We was racing our bikes. So we got a chance to see a lot of different things just off that. Going to Inkster once a week, going to Whitmore Lake every other week. To race was cool, but then when I found football, everything else was a wrap.
Really? It changes everything?
Well, I stopped doing a lot of other things. That was my call that I felt because when I was introduced to it, I was 8. And the UFL was around. NFL, of course, and we was at the Michigan, with Michigan Panthers game. And it was playing New Jersey Generals. And Herschel Walker was on that team.
Wow.
And the things he was doing, and my dad looked at me, he say, you like that? I'm like, yeah. He said, well, man, I said, yeah, I want to do that. And I was, like I said, I was 8. So I got into football and, enjoyed it quite a bit.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So played a few years in college, and that was it for me in football. But I did, coach, and I was part of the organization, and as an adult, in my community. But as far as childhood, and one of the things I got to tell my son about organized sports and playing sports is it's about learning how to work on a team, It's about the work ethic.
Yes.
And it's about doing what it takes to stand it. Like if this is your position, you got to play your position.
Right.
You can't play somebody else's position.
Right.
So those are all, you know, those are all life lesson
Yeah.
kind of things, how you build. That's why they're so important. That's why when I got back to Highland Park, one of the first things I did was get involved with the youth, because those lessons are the ones you take throughout your life.
Definitely.
So those are the things, and like I said, growing up in the kind of block I grew up on, you know, you just have different things, and if everybody's family just learn these different lessons, and you get a chance to apply them.
Definitely.
You know, so that's kind of like my upbringing, you know, schooling and everything like that. But just to kind of, first thing that come to mind when you say upbringing, that's what comes to mind.
So you gave back to your community, Highland Park, because you grew up there and you saw the positive impact that it had on you, and you went in return and came back and to give back. You've given back to the community.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I see, you know, just growing, coming from, because my dad, you know, I'm a junior, so he has a really good name. So it's about him and his namesake and me. Now, you know, I had large shoes to fill, which was fine. One thing that you're taught in communities like ours is that in order to make it, you got to go away. But that's not a good concept.
You got to move out of the community.
You got to move out the community. Okay, now you made it.
Right.
But how is that making it?
Right.
Because if anybody that becomes successful moves out the community, who builds the community?
Oh, nobody, right?
Exactly. So when I first got involved in the youth programs, one of my main focuses, one of the things that I talked about and wanted to add to these programs is the fact that we have to make this a 360-degree program, which means we build the youth up, we make sure they go away, but we got to give them the message of coming back.
Yes.
You know, I mean, even if you don't fully move into the community, you got to come give back.
Right.
You know, because that's your duty.
Right.
And, you know, I would more so like to see more people move back that's successful to help build it up.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, you know, to turn it into that type of community where, you know, people want to come back or people come in to build the community up versus their whole goal and ambition is to lead a community, and that's what they consider making it.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right about that. That's total, like the concept of it doesn't even, like, if people really think about the things that they say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be a whole different story.
Yeah.
But you are right about that. How could you try to build a community when you're moving out the community?
Yeah, but you would, and I get it, because, you know, as a youth, and if you're struggling and you know it's, you know, you living in poverty, you want to aspire to do more, and I get it, but you gotta, it's gotta be a concept where if every successful person from Highland Park came back to Highland Park, we wouldn't be in poverty.
Exactly. And a lot of successful people came out
out
of Highland
Park. A
Park.
lot of success. I mean, we have a who's who. Even now, we don't have a high school, but we're graduating children from our community. They're going to these other schools, and they're excelling. I mean, some of the top football teams, some of the top wrestling programs are getting children from our programs.
Yes.
Which, I mean, that's the dynamic right now, but that's the dynamic that we're looking to change.
Right.
You know, because when we were a powerhouse in football, it was because they left the youth program. You know, the youth the football team, they wrestled. They would go to the high school team. They would wrestle high school team. So we had like a little farm league going on.
Wow.
And we were being successful. You know, we were successful because our thing is not about building an all-star team. It's about building the student athlete up.
Right.
You know, it's easy to go around and get the best of the best, but what about the ones that don't have that talent right away?
That's right.
They got it in them, but I mean, if you're not, you got to bring it out of them.
Sure.
And that's important. You know, those are all important factors in youth development. And when you're talking about building a community or coming from a community, those are the things that you got to have in mind.
Definitely.
You know, and then another thing that I work to do is tie the youth to the seniors.
The youth to the singers?
Seniors.
Seniors.
Yeah. We have a heavy senior population.
Yes. In Highland Park?
Yeah. But it's such a disconnect.
Wow.
because, you know, the seniors not afraid of you, but they like, oh, wow, bunch.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, no.
And then the youth was looking at the seniors like, they not. But
Yeah.
then when they get together, we've had events where I've had senior events where I have my youth programs hosted.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, just the joy that some of these seniors have and the joy that even the children have, because at the end of the night, they're like, oh, this person kind of reminded me of my grandmother. This person, you know, I could feel the love from this person.
Right.
And what that also does is bring the love back.
Right.
Because we're not loving on each other.
We're not.
And then we can't heal each other. We can't grow each other. We can't build until some of those disconnects
Yes.
are reconnected.
You're right about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're right about that. You know, a lot of seniors, they do complain about, I guess because, you know, the younger generation, you know, they grew up with like technology and social media. So it's different, and it's kind of like intimidating for the older person to use, you know what I mean? To try to connect with the younger generation because they don't know how to.
Right.
But I feel like COVID actually pushed them to learn to go on social media and be more active that way. I think the COVID brought people together. What do you think?
I believe it exposed some things. It changed the dynamic of how we live forever.
Yes.
Because of the virtual, you know, because, you know, you can work virtually and go to school virtually, although I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I've never been a big fan of social media either because I'm this type person.
Yeah, face to face.
Yeah, you know, I'm interactive. You know, I grew up, you know, the video games is cool, but I wanted to go outside
Right.
and be outside as long as I can to play in the street, you know, everything. But I do believe that it has helped to connect things. You know, but we got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, definitely that for
So,
sure.
you know, with that digital divide and just us, like I said, some of the communities are not moving as fast as some of the other communities.
Definitely, for sure.
Yeah, so you know that's we gotta work to fill that gap.
But do you see like a difference in your work that you're doing? Do you see like the gap is like, you know, it's kind of like merging, or do you see a difference?
I see growth, but we're nowhere near where we need to be.
No.
Nah.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, but you know, that's what it's about.
Yes.
It's about the work.
It's about the work.
It's about the work.
Coming together.
It's about
And
the
just
work.
making it happen.
It's about the work.
You're right about that. We are going to come back and talk about the different programs that you had set up for the youth and the different things that you're working on. But I wanted to go over your background as far as like your education. Where did you go to school? What degree you have? Did you think you're going to go into politics?
So we're going to start with college?
Yes.
All right, we start with college. So I went to Michigan Tech. I was always good in math and science. It wasn't my first choice. It actually wasn't nowhere. It was, you know, it was some things between my football coach not giving me my letters or whatnot. So, you know, Michigan Tech was on the table. So I went, you know, you figure it's 10 hours away, 11 hours away in Michigan. Across it, you know, you figure we right here, Tech up here. Yeah, so we're an hour and a half north of northern Michigan.
Yes.
From Marquette. So, but I did. It's a top engineering school, so I did get an engineering degree from there. I had a fellowship with the Department of Defense. So when I graduated, I went right into. I was a project engineer for the Department of Defense for some years.
What's Project of Defense? Was like security?
Army.
Army?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's big.
It's
huge.
No, it was. It is.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was in watercraft systems. I was in materials handling. So I was over watercraft systems. That's getting materials from ship to shore. A lot of times the Army go places.
Yeah.
And these ships, and they got all the supplies on the ship. It may not be a dock or anything. So how did they get the supplies from the ship to the shore?
Exactly. How?
That's where
you come in?
Yeah, well, that's the programs I was working.
So you're the problem solver.
That's what engineering is. That's how it is. It's problem solving.
You solve all the problems.
But it was great though. You know, I was young, and you know, it taught me a lot about life, especially looking back now. Because being that project engineer, you know, my thing was to make sure all the departments, the contractors, everybody was on point. It's different, I guess, being a engineer in public versus private, because everything is different. So
Definitely.
my end user was the military,
Mm.
so a little bit different.
Right.
And our budgets come in different. Everything is different.
Mm.
But it was a great experience. It was a
Definitely.
great experience. I had an office in D.C. I was spending a week in D.C. every 3 weeks. I was based in Warren,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a lot of travel in the Virginias and the West Coast, anything water related, where all of the Army bases is off the water.
Right.
So it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, But I had my own business also. I had a marketing and promotions company,
Yeah.
so I was still doing that.
We're gonna get into that after
Mhm.
the station break.
Okay.
Okay. Well, all right. You are watching Everyday People Live, streaming on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and top social media platforms. Make sure you like, you follow, you share, and you comment. And make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And to support the show, you can hit my Cash App, capital J 112233 capital W. And thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for your support. أعزائي المشاهدين، شكرا لمشاهدة Everyday People على قناة WJZZ Cool TV. اليوم عندنا special guest, Mr. Carlton Jr. And he is the president and of the council member of Highland Park. And we will continue the conversation.
All right.
All right. So you said you worked for the Army.
Yep.
And
Department of Defense. Yep. With the Army. Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
But how did you get recruited?
Well, they had some fellowships
Uh-huh.
where I was in school at Michigan Tech.
Yes.
And my advisor, so I'm also a charter member for Omega Psi Phi, Xi Delta Chapter up there.
Oh.
So our advisor, had a good relationship, and they was looking for 10 students,
Uh-huh.
and they wanted them to intern during the summer, and then they would pay for school and books, and then they would graduate, they go right in.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a good gig.
That's a good
Yeah,
gig.
I got that in like 95. I had 2 years left, so I graduated in 97.
Uh-huh.
So I got this summer in 95.
Yeah.
So I really didn't, so, it was time to graduate, and I finally saw that light, like, oh, I might get out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about looking for a job.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a good look.
That's a good look.
Yeah, it was a real good look.
So it took care of you while you were going to school.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so like I said, they paid for the school, for tuition and books,
Uh-huh.
and then gave you a job in the summer,
Right.
and then a job when you graduate.
What?
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
Can't beat it. Some of my friends, they're still there.
Really? Until
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, they're still there. I mean, they high up, because when
Wow.
I left in 02,
Uh-huh.
and I left as a 13. So I left, in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
So they running the place now.
What? So anytime you need them, hello? I need this one. And then you said your business. You started
Right.
your business.
So I had a marketing promotions company,
Uh-huh.
and I had an opportunity to leave.
Okay.
And not to take anything away from that job,
Yeah.
but I'm in my mid 20s,
Mhm.
if you will, I was over mid 20s, let's call it, right?
Yes.
The average age of the employee was 55. All they talked about was retirement. That's it, and how boring their life was.
What?
I ain't want that.
Yeah.
97, when I graduated, Dennis Kimbrough came on site and gave a seminar.
Mhm.
And he wrote Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice.
Yeah.
And so I started, following him. And in the seminar, he said, listen, the way to a successful life is to make money doing something you love. 'Cause then it's not work.
Right. It doesn't feel like work anymore.
No, it's not.
It just feels like
It's
you're
just
just
what it
going
is.
on
It's
about
just
your
what,
day.
yeah, it's just so. I said, oh, I got some work to do,
Uh-huh.
but I enjoyed what I was doing because my childhood friend. Like when I would come home from school, I would do promotions with him.
Mhm.
I mean, all the top labels, all the top artists. We was working those for Detroit.
Mhm.
So I had this opportunity come with Remy Martin, and so I took it as, just a side gig, for my company.
Yeah.
And they brought me in. We did well. Because I took that music industry game and applied it to the liquor.
Okay.
And, that was something unheard of because, the way we used to work records, now everything is different with social media and everything, but back then you had to service DJs, you had to make sure people was listening to it, go around, make sure the promo stuff was out. It was a whole
More
different
work.
way. I mean, it was the work.
Yeah.
So I took that and put it behind this brand, and some 9 months, it was like, hey, we want to create a position.
Uh-huh.
But the people that I was had the contract with knew that I had a career. We got close. We got close. We was hanging out. It was a 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. I was at the job. Being the engineer.
Yeah.
Now I slide down the back pole
in
the streets. Because doing my other gig, the marketing promote. That's what it felt like. I come in, slide down the pole, and I'm back out. Now it's a whole nother thing.
You're right.
And so
you're doing like multiple things at the same time.
Oh yeah, it's the work. It's the work.
Work.
Yeah, I'm young. I'm gonna get it in.
Right.
I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna build it.
Right.
So they came to me and said, listen, our business. I mean, they feel real good about what's going on. They want to create a position. Mm-hmm. Can you recommend somebody to us? Mm-hmm. They knew I had a career. Right. I said, well, tell me about it. So they ran down the position. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, is the base negotiable? Uh-huh. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, is the base salary negotiable? Uh-huh. That's what I mean.
Right.
So they was like, well, let me check with New York, because that's where the national headquarters is in New York. Mm-hmm. So they was like, well, yeah, it's negotiable. I said, well, I'm interested. Uh-huh. I mean, they was excited. They like, really? Like, yeah, what about your job? I said, I'll worry about that.
Yeah.
But this gave me an opportunity. Like, you work from home. They give you a company car, you got expense account, you got this, you get this. And your job is to make sure people are drinking this liquor.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you give me a budget, and you give me, I get to pay people to come work, pretty ladies to come work with me. And
yeah.
I'm like, come on. I mean, how you going,
How you going to say no to that?
And then instead of going to a cubicle, I mean, again, right. I'm not taking anything away from anybody.
Yes.
Or anything, but it wasn't for me.
Right.
So I went and told my team leader I need to leave without pay. 6 months. Never went back.
Never went back?
I didn't even go get my stuff, like my personals, man. I feel so bad
you
now.
Just left
I left everything. Never went back. Didn't reply no emails. I feel bad. I did them bad. I did. I do. Like when I got, as I started getting older and the things started slowing down, I said, I think I did that the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because they had paid for a master's, a master's in technical management. So all that was happening at the same time. So I did all the coursework. I ain't even turned in my paper.
No way.
I did all the coursework.
You did what?
I did everything. I didn't even get. My daddy was like, "Man, are you like, you gonna regret that, son?" I'm like, man, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting it in, Dad. Like, you don't see, man, what we talking? Look at this. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? Look at these checks. They're just having fun, and he was right. So I did. I completed all that coursework to get the master's degree in technical management, and just didn't even turn into. And it was on containers, and now so now I have a building corporation. And we outfitting containers.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's just how things always come back around. So I did the Remy thing, and like I said, I have my own company still because it was other brands. So right. I did things for Hawaiian Punch, churches, Rockport, so all these brands.
Right.
I'm working.
Right.
I'm working on them, and it's good.
Do you still have your company?
Not that company.
No. Do you have another one?
Yes.
What is it?
So I got so now I do marketing and business consulting, and I do project management through a building corporation.
Wow.
So those are the two for-profits.
Yes.
Yeah.
On top of what you're doing politically.
Well, yeah, the political thing kind of took over a lot.
It took over?
A lot.
When did you start, and when did you get into politics?
So my first campaign was 2019 for city council. So I was the top voter. That's how I became president in 20. When I walked away from the private sector, the REMI, the work, everything, I went back to school, got a couple more master degrees, and started really working in the community. So I'm going to say then, because that's what really started me on this course. Working with the youth, working with the seniors, the programs that we had going, and just the disconnect between the municipality and what was going on. So a friend of mine, we did business in the entertainment industry. He's a Highland Parker, so me and him started a nonprofit in '09 with two other gentlemen from Highland Park called My Brother's Keeper.
It's called My Brother's Keeper?
Yep.
Okay.
And it was before the Obama piece. But it was like almost like when Obama launched his in 14, it was almost like they was in the room. Because, it was like exactly the same. It was about making sure our young men get built up. We started with high school age. I wanted to start with sixth graders, but I was outvoted. So we was working with the high school students, taking them to have a sit down with us. We was building, taking them to museums and just different things, just opening them up. And then I was also working with the sports team. So anyway, so he became a council member, and then he ran for mayor. So he became mayor in 2012. So I started working for the city as code enforcement.
Okay.
So that gave me an opportunity in code enforcement. I get the complaints. I do all that. So I really got a chance to build with the community and see needs.
Hello. Thank you for contacting
Uncle Michael calling in.
Hi, Uncle Michael. How are you?
Pretty good. I wanted to compliment your guest on all his achievements. He's very inspiring, and also the great improvement in Highland Park along Woodward there. It's really exciting, just north of News Center there. Congratulations on all your good work there.
Oh, thank you. We're just getting started.
Yeah, that's super. Good work. The other thing is, can you open the library pretty soon? That library building is a beautiful.
Lot. It is on the list. It's definitely on the list of things to do.
Yes. Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate it. So, yellow, let's continue with the conversation.
Yeah.
This was a good call.
So. Yeah, absolutely. So, did the code enforcement thing. He lost the next election. The mayor that came in kept me on staff. But I was still working in the community, doing the code enforcement, and I just really didn't like what was going on. There was too many disconnects, and it's such a one of the council pro tem Patrick. One day I was just fussing like, man, y'all. He said, well, I tell you what, you run. I'm like, I ain't running. It's like, okay, you right. Have a good day. So seeds started being planted. And people in the community like, hey, we need you to maybe do something. Well, no, that ain't my thing. I'm going to do it from here. But it was only so much you can do.
Yeah. And
it was different legislation that I knew that we needed, being code enforcement, that could help improve the city. So I threw my name, and my spirit had to tell me it was good. It took a minute, and I decided to do it.
That was your calling. You just didn't know it.
For now.
But now you know your purpose is greater.
It is. And you know what? We kind of touched on it before, but when I wake up, I feel good. Because like I've done some great things in the private sector, but not even with the government. But this is kind of like my most rewarding because I'm working with the youth, and you see them now. I see them, they older, and you see some of them on the right path, but you see them, you see the growth. And you can see your work, and you can see it in your community. To me, it's nothing bigger than that. True. Because that's what we need. We need more of us to, come on, let's build our community.
Right.
Let's get together. Let's set some things aside. So my whole motto is one city, Highland Park, moving forward. I mean, we got faith-based community. We got we got the national big corporations. We got small, small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
We got the residents. We really need to tie in together to move it forward. 2.97 square miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make that work.
Definitely, for sure. You're gonna make it work.
Yeah.
We're all gonna make it work.
That's right.
We're all gonna work together. We're gonna take a station break ID,
Okay. All right.
and then we're gonna continue with the conversation. Okay.
All right, cool.
You are watching Everyday People live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Make sure you like, you follow, you share, you comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And thank you so much for your support. If you want to sponsor the show, you can hit the Cash App, capital J 112233 capital W. And أعزائي المشاهدين شكرا لمشاهدة Everyday People على قناة WJZZ Cool TV. And today's special guest is Mr. Carlton, the president, the council member and president of Highland Park. And we are going to continue the conversation, okay?
Okay.
So, so basically, you're doing a lot for the community. You're bringing Highland Park community back. And do you see like a difference? Like, do you like, how long do you think it's going to be before you see a change and difference within the youth, that are actually going to make a difference in the community?
Right. I see really the next 3 to 5 years, things will be different.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And do you see like the youth, like literally, like, do you feel like they're motivated, they're encouraged, like, to do like something for the community? To bring it back?
You know what? I really do. Because the youth are like this. If you don't give them something to do with their energy,
right,
then they're going to do something with their energy.
Right. They're going to do something.
So let's,
destructive, not destructive, they're going to do something.
So, some of the programs that's coming in and some of the youth that I've been working with, I mean, good youth. I mean, even the youth that are non-constructive, don't want to be non-constructive.
Right.
What they gonna do?
What are they gonna do?
And if we're not giving them something positive and to put into, then again they're gonna take their energy and do
other things.
Our thing is about social responsibility.
Right.
So our youth, they do food giveaways. When we adopt, we used to adopt families for the holidays. They would be part of the team delivering.
What do you mean adopt families?
So this is few community organizations used to get together every year, and it started with 25 families and it grew to 50 families. We did it for about 4 years, and so we would have the Head Start for the preschool pick a few families, all the schools pick some families, and then some of the other groups would pick families, and we would get up to like say the 25 or 50, and we'd provide them like a 5-star holiday.
What?
Yeah, Wayne Metro was one of the partners. They was paying their bills because they help with utility and everything like that. So all of the families that were selected, we saw if they qualified for the assistance. So we provide. Some of them got furniture, appliances.
Wow.
We make sure all the children had toys, books, coats, hats, and. If the parents needed certain resources, we would go to some of our other friends and agencies and try to connect as many dots as possible because there's a lot of good resources out here.
Definitely.
But with those disconnects, they don't always go to where they need to go, so then we lose the money.
Wow.
We can't keep letting that happen. We have to, like I say, better fill in them gaps. So we know we got this community in need, and we got all these resources.
Yeah.
But we got to figure out how to make sure we connect these resources to the people.
To the people.
So those were the kind of programs we were doing, and the children were actively involved. So to see that when we was giving away turkeys for Thanksgiving, they there unloading the stuff in boxes, giving them away.
Yeah.
Even like on the campaign trail, or just some of the things we do in the community when we giving back, the laptop giveaways. We get them involved so they see what this is about. Like, hey, you got to take care of your community.
Yeah.
Because this is the community that's taking care of you.
For sure.
So you got to teach that social responsibility so they want to come back.
Exactly.
Because if it's all negative, all bad, it's joy for children to help. You know, you see it on their face like, oh, I helped.
Right.
Here, let me give you this. And it's an excitement.
It really is.
So, to your question is, do I see it? Yeah, I see that absolutely happening. You just got to keep giving more. The Boys and Girls Club is the one at Highland Park. I believe might be the first one, but it's this one I went to. They got a lot of good programs coming along. So now we making sure they're working with the Highland Park Jets, which is the football and cheer, the Silverbacks, which is the wrestling program. So we bring all these youth entities together, and we make sure that it's not just about the sports.
Right.
It's about preparing them for life, teaching them financial literacy.
Oh, you teach them all that?
Those are the programs. That's what it's about.
Wow.
You know, talking about home ownership. You talk about it now.
Yes.
You talk about the trades. You talk about all these. Because right now, youth can write their own ticket.
Right.
Right today.
Right today. You're right.
There's so many jobs. There's so many skilled trades industry. People are aging out fast.
Right.
And nobody's filling in. And those are good, well-paying jobs.
You're right about that.
And it's something that they could take with them, and it'll always be theirs. Either they could work for somebody, they could have their own companies. But these are the skills, and these are the things that we have to promote to the youth.
Exactly.
Because it's not popular.
Right.
So we got to popularize it.
Definitely.
So everybody, what they see, the sports, the rap, it's like a lottery.
Yeah.
This is guaranteed. I ain't telling you not to pursue your dreams.
Yeah.
That's a lottery. This is sustainability. You ain't got to trade it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of being a youth. Is you can pursue your dream, and you can also take care of your bases.
Exactly. That's one thing I wish I did have growing up. You know what I mean? Like those social skills. Because they're literally social skills that help you. Like it's like the foundation, so that when you grow up, you're not like just wander around. Oh, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Yeah. But you learn responsibility from a young age, learning about how to own your own home, learning how to maintain your own money, learning how to own your own business and things like that. Those are all social skills that are needed.
Yeah.
And I really wish I lived in Highland Park to get all this. I had to figure it out on my own.
We had this is before me, but our school system was the model for the country.
Wow, for the country.
For the country, we had the best education system. This is like in the 50s, because Henry Ford was there.
Yes.
So when Henry Ford came, he changed the whole game and the whole landscape of everything. He went to Highland Park because he had to deal with a lot of the politics.
Yes.
So he had his own open landscape. So that's why Davidson is the first freeway. Went through Woodward, first stop, like all these firsts.
Yes.
In Highland Park, even like that high school kind of, because back then, they were only going maybe to 8th grade.
Yeah.
So they go work, right? 8th grade, you go work.
After 8th grade, you go work?
Yeah, back then.
What? For real? This is all new to me.
Yeah,
8th grade, you go work?
You go work. 14, 15.
Where was I? I was sleeping.
No, you wasn't thought of, maybe.
I wasn't thought of.
No, I'm talking. I wasn't thought of. So we talking. But so then they took it to like a 2-year. Like you go to 8th grade, to higher school.
Yes.
And now they leaving that higher school, they coming in more competent. Like, these students, they really getting it in. We ain't got to teach them so much.
Right.
Because they learn more in school. So let's take it up a couple more years.
Wow.
Let's go a couple more. That's where, like the K through 14 thing come from. So now you got, 9 to 12, and then you also got 13 and 14.
Right.
Those are the years, you really get the fine-tuning skills. You go into like plants or different manufacturing companies as management, knowing how to run things. But anyway, so you were able to leave the Highland Park public school system and make a career.
Yes.
And then we also had a community college. And our community college was graduating people, and a lot of people say, I went to Highland Park Community College. So
where's Highland Park Community College?
Well, it's nowhere now, but
there was one?
There was yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. And all that closed down?
Yeah, everything's closed right now.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's still on the books.
It's still in history.
And it's still on our books. It's still part of our charter and everything like that. So we can pull it up. We can do it again.
We could do it again?
Yeah.
Yellow, let's do it. Yellow, man, sign me up. I can help you.
But I mean, again, those are things we want to shoot for. But right now, it's some things we just got to tie up internally.
Right.
Process of just different things, just a lot of low hanging fruit that's being missed that we can capture. But capturing that low hanging fruit puts us in a whole nother position.
Right.
We're stable.
Yeah.
The media can say or do whatever it want to say and do, but we are stable. We are here. We are fighting, and we're going to keep going.
Yes.
We're going to keep fighting.
Yes.
As a community, no matter what the infighting look like, it's enough of us that love the city enough to want to help keep the city moving forward. And these are the everyday people that you don't see.
Yes.
These are the everyday people that's putting in it, is not getting accolades or not being there, but they don't care because they doing for their community.
But they should care, or else how are people gonna know about them?
But here's the thing: while you're doing it,
Uh-huh.
you ain't thinking about that.
You're right, because they don't have egos.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
about, and then you ain't got
Yeah.
time for, because this is what happens, and I've seen it happen. You have a good program, right? We're still we're not where we want to be, but then they'll come, wave some money in front of you, like, hey, let's take this program and let's make it bigger.
Right.
We haven't accomplished our program here yet.
Right.
We still have a mission, and as long as this children not up to par and up to speed, then we're not done with our mission.
Exactly.
Because our mission is focusing. No, I'm not. All children are welcome.
Yes.
But this is where we're building, and this is where we want to build. This is where we want to stay, because we build this up, and we can build this model up to where we have a fully functioning.
Yeah.
Then we could talk about taking it some other places. This is that another. But right now,
we're working on this.
we're working on yes, and so that's where they're at, and that's what I was privileged to come into. Like Coach Washington, he been doing this for so long. And when I got to coaching with him, and then I had his son, and I put him in the programs, I told Coach, I said, this is when I was doing all my, what you call it, jet setting, whatever you want to call it, all that other, private industry stuff.
Yes.
And I told him, I said, I'm gonna give my life where I can help you, because I want to be part of this.
Right.
And that's what happened. So and that's where I ended up. So I helped him, build the programs up from an administrative point of view, a capacity builder. So while he working with the youth, he ain't worried about the books, or he ain't worried about this, because we don't need him doing this. We need him working with them babies.
Right.
Because that's what he's doing. That's where his passion is. And he don't whatever. He don't care about none of that. This what we got a hanger, and this is what we working with today.
Right.
If this is all we got, then this is what we're gonna use.
Yes. But if you bring it out, don't you think it will encourage people to do more of that?
But
it will start a cycle.
I agree, but when you bring it out, then you lose time putting in. That's why you gotta build a team. And that's what I'm talking about. So his thing is make hands on with the babies every day.
Right.
We don't need him in these, no, hands on with the babies.
Specialty.
That's his specialty.
Yes.
He ain't gonna, hey man, where that paper at? You gave it to me? I keep telling you, don't give me no paper. No, and that's the truth. Like, don't you hand him nothing, hand it to me.
Right.
And I'm gonna make sure it's done, make sure all our I's dotted, make sure we have our insurance, make sure we have all these things to do what we need to do on that side. And we build these programs for these youth. And you gotta worry about that. I work with the parents. I'll make sure the parents are up to speed. You build the babies. I'll take care of this end.
Right.
So that, I had the opportunity to get down with him. And that, changed everything for me, because even though it was in me, I had to take it another step, because this guy's getting it in with no help. He ain't even asking for it.
Wow.
So I'm like, nah, Coach, we're going to get us some grants. We're going to get us this. So now I'm not able to do as much on an everyday level.
Yes.
But I'm working on some big things for, the long-term level.
Exactly.
And, we ain't got to see each other every day. We ain't got to talk every day. We check in. You good? You send me the reports. Yeah, we kicking us. We still kicking a lot of butt. Because our wrestling program is top in the country. We went to the States and took 11 first place. We had 22 people place.
Wow.
We took 22 wrestlers,
Uh-huh.
ages 4 to 14,
Uh-huh.
and we placed
Wow.
22, all 22. 11 of them took first place.
What? 11 of them?
11 of
That's
them.
big.
That's what we do. It's a Silverback Academy. I'm telling you, it's a huge program. We got people from this program that's coaching college wrestling, trying out for the Olympics. I mean, they in the NCAA tournament. So the programs are real.
Yes.
And they're coming back. And they come back. They come in the summers, they come in breaks, and they get in the wrestling room, and they get, and so now the older boys get to wrestle with these men, you know what I'm saying, this like, and they can relate to them way better than we can.
That's true.
Because they know they speak the language, they listen to the same stuff pretty much. Dress, I'm so out of touch. My son's 17, and I'll be like, hey, what's X, Y, and Z, like,
Keep me up to date.
But that's that 360 program, and then so now you get a lot of that coming in. Now Coach Washington can kind of chill a little bit more, chill because now we got these youngins coming back, and coaching, so where he can start taking a step back, but we want to train him up, like me being in this position, moving to another position. As soon as I'm set, I'm looking for a 30-year-old that I can help, that want to aspire to be in the politics or want to aspire to build that community. And that's what I want to teach, or a group of them. However that look, introduce this type, government to children from a real point of view. If you learning government in school, or you taking these classes, you got to learn it from the government point of view.
Right.
Reading it in the book, difference. And then you come in and when you working with council members, or you working with the mayor, you seeing in the workings of your local government, which is the most important.
Exactly, because it's hands-on.
It's hands-on. That's your everyday. And then those are the people that represent you on your larger stages. So if your local government is out of whack, which is, let's be honest, a lot of local governments aren't functioning how they need to function.
Yeah.
But if we tighten it up and start working together, like I got great relationships with the mayor of Inkster and some of these other communities, and we build and we talk and we say, well, how did you? Oh, well, we did this, or hey, there's some money over here for this. I know y'all got the same issues I got. Yeah, we do. So you build those type networks. Now you building all your communities up, and you staying in touch, and you sharing resources, and now you growing as a.
It's a huge project.
It is.
It really is. You're bringing everyone together. You're bringing different cities together. Yeah. Different communities. Yeah. We're going to continue with our conversation after the station break, and we have a little bit of time left, and we're going to talk about advice for the youth and everyone out there that wants to do what you do, okay? So you are watching Everyday People live, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Make sure you like, you follow, you share, and you comment, and you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And if you would like to sponsor the show, you can hit my Cash App, capital J 112233, capital W. أعزائي المشاهدين شكرا لمشاهدة Everyday People على قناة WJZZ Cool TV, and with our special guest Mr. Carlton Jr. and the president and the council member of Highland Park. And what is your advice for everyone that's watching us today? What is your advice for everyone who wants to do or follow your footsteps? You know what I mean? Or on the or they're on the same page as you. What would you advise them?
I would really advise getting to self. Really understanding who you are and how you operate, and getting as much information and education as you can. And that's with anything. Whenever you get involved with anything, a lot of people got a lot of information for you, but check the sources. Read. You know what I'm saying? Reading is, reading is fundamental. Yes. That's the truth, because people don't like reading.
People don't like to read.
People don't like to read, but it's like you could stay out of so much mess if you read.
Yes, you're right about that.
Yeah, and ask questions.
You're right, because like I feel like some of these books out here, like they, it's like a summary of what
Yeah.
of like it's like they tried it, they did it for you. All you have to do is just follow it.
Yeah, it's not.
And that's a shortcut.
And there's no shortcuts out
There's
here.
no shortcuts out
There's
here.
no shortcuts out here. You got to do the work.
You got to do the work.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can't be afraid of it.
Yes.
You can't be afraid of it. Follow
You have
your
fear.
instinct, follow your gut. And the more you get to self, the more your instincts will help move you through.
Is that how like you became the person that you are? You were in touch with yourself.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
And how did you do it? Was it like something
I
that you?
stepped away from everything.
What do you mean?
I walked away from everything. I walked away from careers and everything, and just took a moment for myself.
Wow.
To raise my son. I just, I didn't know. I didn't have a plan.
No?
Nothing.
Do you have a plan now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, when I first did, this was like 2009. It's like, and my parents like, well, what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I was gonna be all right,
Yes.
and I was all right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm all right. And again, when I stepped away, so many questions got answered.
Oh.
It's just, I mean, it's like when you really tune in to yourself, you get what you want.
You get what you want. You're right.
Cause it's about you.
It's about you.
You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like if you're not functioning as you,
Yes.
you in trouble.
You're right about that. Because most people like their followers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're actually all born leaders. We're all chosen.
Okay.
We're all chosen.
For
That's what
something.
I believe. We're all chosen for something. Because we're here on a mission to do
To
something.
do something.
To help each other out. We're in here together. Like, you're doing it.
Positive.
Yes.
We're all here for something.
We're all here for
Even
something.
if it's to help somebody else.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
be
We're in
part of
this
somebody
together.
else's steps.
Yes.
And that's the truth. You gotta, follow you.
Follow
Be
you.
you. And that's so important because I come across some people and I feel the energy in them, but they're so afraid to be them because of maybe the group that they hang around with.
Right.
Find a better group.
You gotta let them go.
If you are the smartest person in your circle, find a better circle.
Right. Somebody smarter than you.
You have to.
You have to. To grow.
Iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? You be dull, so you're right here. Like, you ain't building with people that you can learn and build and really build from.
Right. And people that challenge you too.
People that challenge you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how can you grow?
Exactly. You can't grow
You
without
can't,
a
because
challenge.
you think you're doing everything right and you're on a hamster wheel.
Right.
Or you sailing with that anchor in the ground.
Yeah,
You know
let's
what
talk about that one. In the last couple of minutes, we're going to talk about the anchor. Let's talk about that one.
I love it because, you got your water and your ship, you moving and, you have a destination. And you're like, why am I not getting to my destination? That's because you got your anchor in the ground because you holding on to too much. You know what I mean? That's real.
It's floating.
Yeah, you
but
floating,
it's going
you moving. He like, here we go. It's like, well, no, you in the same place. You
Right.
know, like, maybe over time, even with anchoring, you'll move a little bit. But if you took that anchor out the ground, you
It'll
can
sail.
move. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's huge. But that comes,
Big analogy.
healing, forgiveness,
Yes.
all that. But that's all about self.
Right.
You can't hold on to a lot of that because that's bad energy. That's and that's still on you. The more you release, the more you forgive, the more you heal, the more you can grow.
Right.
And the clearer, your path is.
True.
And take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
That's really, really important. Taking care of yourself. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show again. It was a beautiful talk. You taught everyone different lessons in life and the beautiful things that you're doing in the community of Highland Park and how you came back, to give back to your community. That's something very beautiful and the things that you're working on. And for sure, we're going to see a big change, within the community, within the youth, within even the parents, just getting involved and everyone just getting involved, and working with different cities. that's a big encouragement, and I'm sure a lot of people are listening to this show, and I'm sure you're encouraging them to
Okay,
do their
wow,
best
that's
and tune
beautiful.
into who they are and really love who they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, for sure. You are watching Everyday People live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Make sure you like, you follow, you share, and you comment, and you subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And don't forget to hit the Cash App for sponsorship, capital J 112233 capital W. And thank you so much to our special guest, Mr. Carlton Jr., the council member and the president of Highland Park. And stay tuned to next week's show. We have another special guest next week. Stay tuned on WJZZ Cool TV for our next guest.